Okay. Dear officers, a very good evening to one and all. Let's get started with some of the important aspects which we have already discussed. Scientific management has a concrete theory began in the first half of the 20th century. The major reason was organizations at this point of time were inefficient. So now, please tell me why the organizations were inefficient at this point of time. Please let me know from you. Why the organizations were inefficient? So here you have to internalize these things because these were the problems which were solved by the Tyler, and this is scientific management. Let me brief these things. Here, there was rule of thumb. No scientific method. There was no prescribed standard procedure. Say, for example, an institution, an IAS institution, one teacher teaches in the way he wants. Another teacher teaches in the way he wants. And there is some institution where another teacher teaches in the way he wants. There should be something. Definitely, teaching is very subjective. It is individualistic. But beneath that subjectivity, there will be objective truths. Is the point clear to you? So there was no scientific method present. Next was with managers. This was one of the biggest thing. Managers were lazy. They were not guiding the workers. Because of that, workers used to do the work on their own, applying rule of thumb, not scientific method. And the incentive was based on just attendance. Because of that, workers were not working properly. Managers, since they were having higher authority, higher say, they were putting all the blame on the workers and they were not cooperative. Coming to the workers, from the workers' point of view, also there was what is known as soldering. What is soldering? Soldering simply means reduction of output. There are two ways of soldering. One is natural and another is systemic. Natural is with respect to personal reasons. The habit of taking it easy, not to overexert. Say, for example, Array, already our students have already paid. Why should I try too hard? Let me just go and just tell whatever I want. Because somehow I will be getting paid. So this was the kind of mentality. And also there was a systemic one. This was result of the environment, the group effect, the social things. So one was natural because of personal things, and another was with respect to the group, the social group in which it was there. And always managers and workers used to fight because they used to think that the interest of workers is against the interest of managers. They never realized that they are complementary. They always thought that the interests are antagonistic, opposite to each other. Because of all these things, there was restriction in the output. So how to resolve these things? How to resolve the rule of thumb? You have to have scientific management. Previously, they were just paid for the attendance. So that should be removed. So in this place, piece rate system should be applied. If one has worked more, he should be given more. And the burden should be equally shared between the workers and the managers. Soldering should be removed. And very important, Tyler put forth the concept of mental revolution, a new way of thinking where both the workers and managers think that their mutual interests are complementary, not antagonistic. If we do all these things, definitely the output will be high. This is scientific management, nothing more than this. So what is the profound thing which you observed in all this thing? Here, the concentration was on workers to a greater extent. Here, they were using all the tricks and strategies to make sure that workers are more efficient and workers are like machines. And Tyler made some assumptions in this regard. This already we have covered, so I'll be just sliding the things here. Organization function can be improved by scientific methods. And a good worker is one who does not initiate. This was against the things which were previously present because workers used to initiate the work on their own. Why? Managers was not guiding. And every worker is an economic man. Economic man is a terminology taken from economy, which simply means that we get motivated by monetary consideration, money. So principles of scientific management, in place of rule of thumb, there should be science of work. There should not be rule of thumb. Afterwards, first is making the work, defining the work process in a scientific way. Work part is over. Then coming to human resource. Scientifically select an individual, train them, teach them, and develop the workman. So here, work is properly defined. One best way of doing the work is already found by motion and time studies. Then workers are selected appropriately. And after doing all this thing, if there is no desirable result, then they should be removed. Work is ready and the worker is ready. So bring together these two. Afterwards, there is a need of mental revolution, new outlook. There is no scientific management without mental revolution. What is this new outlook? Both management and the worker should think that their mutual interests are complementary, not antagonistic. Both should think that this is a win-win situation for all. That is a mental revolution. There must be equal division of work and responsibility between management and worker. These are the only principles. Afterwards, techniques involved. So here, motion study, time study, functional foremanship, differential piece rate system, exceptional principle. So here, differential piece rate system. For different work, different amount of money should be paid. Based on the motion studies, preferred work method should be identified. Standard time should be identified, time study. Foreman means supervisor. A IAS aspirant should be supervised by, according to scientific management, if you put that, by a group of supervisors, not like only one mentor. A mentor is good in economics, so he'll be dealing with only economics things. Another ethics, another prelim specialist, another writing practice. So he put forward the concept of functional foremanship. It was against the concept of unity of command. Unity of command means one individual should receive command from only one boss. So in this regard, he said that one foreman should supervise one particular function only. One supervisor should supervise one particular function only. Still, these terms are still used where mechanical works are involved. So here he said that there should be 8 functional foremen, functional supervisors, 4 related to planning and 4 related to execution. If you have observed in the operation theaters, what happens? Doctor doesn't go and take the equipments, the instruments. He just utters some things and the instrument will be in his hand. This was directly the result of application of scientific management. Previously, the method was like doctor used to search the equipments required. Because of the application of scientific management, America was able to produce more. The planning, the centralized planning, which began in Russia, and in fact, the first planning was based on Taylor's method. Management as a subject started with a high contribution of scientific management. So these things you shouldn't be imagining at the present context. You should be imagining these things some 100 and 130 years back, how the society was. Right? So, okay. So what was the criticisms? Please let me know what were the criticisms. What are the criticisms? What are the criticisms of scientific management? Just okay. Very good. Treated peoples as efficient. Instead of that, it wanted to make people as efficient as machines. Solely focused on the lower level. Yes, very good. Means shop floor. So here, very nice. Is treated people okay. Okay, good. So here the criticisms were it was a partial theory. Why it was said to be partial theory? It concentrated only on lower ladder. It never integrated and coordinated the lower and the higher ladders. Then it was said to be mechanistic theory. Means why? Because it considered, it treated everything in mechanic terms. We often use the term, he is doing the work mechanically. So, like machines, it oversimplified human motivation because it never thought that social and psychological factors also can motivate a worker to do more. It thought that motivation is dependent on money. It was a physiological organization theory. Why? They were concerned with only those body movements which were related to work. Other than that, they were not concerned. So it was said to be physiological organization theory. It was a great opposition from the labor unions also. Managers also opposed for the very reason that they were losing their judgment. Why they were losing their judgment? Please do answer this question. Why? Why? managers felt that they would lose their judgment and discretion. Why would this happen? The reason being, okay, let me see the answers. Scientific methods used, very good. Because the first principle, science of work, how to do the work, is already found out by motion and time studies. Right? Good. Okay. And also, work and responsibility of managers would increase by these things. Okay. Workers as gear wheels. This is a very, very important thing. It just saw everyone as a gear wheel. One smaller, one bigger, which all put together will make the machine run. Okay. So these were the things we discussed yesterday. Now coming to administrative management. So what is administrative management? Please define in your words. Simple keywords. Let me see. Administrative management. Discovery and application of principles. Great. Applying universal principle to make organization more efficient and effective. Very good. So here, as you already have said, that's it. So here, the most important thing is discovering and applying principles. So these principles, according to the proponents of administrative management, were universal. They can be applied equally to the church, to the military organization. They were can be applied equally to any organization in United States, to any organization in a remote village, in a tribal hamlet. In this regard, many in this school of thought, they just propose some of the principles. So it was after the scientific management. So it all happened in the first half of the 20th century, and it was the last literature in the closed model. Foyle, Gulick, Urwick, Money and Riley, Mary Parker Follett, and you can add one more, Chester Bernard, C.R. Bernard. So in this regard, these two, these three, they directly was implying the things in a very strict manner to closed model. Some elements of open model were present here. Some elements of open model were present here, but here completely closed model. Even then, these are considered to be theorists or proponents of closed model itself. Only few. In fact, it was the Mary Parker Follett who was ahead of her times. This administrative theory gave rise to what is known as open model. So, coming to the chronology, bureaucratic theory was the first. Afterwards came your scientific management. Afterwards, you came your administrative management. Before this, there was no concept of open model. They only thought and formulated their laws, principles, everything with the closed model in mind. This is known by many names. Here they were involved in discoveries. Here there is no need for you to reproduce these things as it is. Discovery and application of universal scientific administrative principles, which can be which can improve the organization's efficiency and effectiveness. There was an element of positivism and also universalism. They said that administration is science and these principles are universally applicable in any respect. So here Foyle found 14, Gurvik, Ulik and Gurvik, they propounded 7 principles, Moni and Riley 4. Mary Parker Follett was in fact one who was not concerned with this principle to a greater extent. She did not study much. So that is the reason it is said that she was unusually ahead of others. So these are the principles. You have just go through these things. And by Gulick, and one more by Gulick with the famous acronym POST-COB relating to planning, organizing, shopping, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. 8 principles of organization by Urvik. So here I'll be defining all these things one by one. Afterwards, we'll get into the open model. And in fact, none of the teachers teaches these principles. Before you understand these things, it is very difficult for you to understand further topics. Right? Okay. Hope you have gone through these things. Okay. Significance of administrative management. Here, one of the negatives of administrative management, almost now, by now, this is redundant. This is not used because there is nothing like principles which can be applied to all organization in all places and at all times. And in fact, some of the theorists called these principles as proverbs. Some even called that as jokes. How can something be applied to all organization in all places at all times? But there was positive aspect also. What was that positive aspect? The most important positive aspect here is for the first time in the history of organization theory, faintly, a light appeared where they for the first time recognized that workers have mind. For the first time, they considered the human aspect. Previously, never. Say, for example, what are the previous theories? Bureaucracy, impersonal organization. That is, impersonality is with respect to the people who are working within the organization and also the relation of the person who is working in the organization to the client. There was no human element present here. Scientific management, it wanted to make workers as efficient as machines. It is a mechanistic model. So for the first time, there was some hope with respect to human aspect. That was the positive. So negative, unfortunately for administrative management school, there was no universal scientific administrative principles. right? So this is the one conclusion which you should be taking. So with respect to any of the classical theories, now, as of now, it is proved that there is no universal scientific administrative principle that can be applied in all places at all times in all organizations. Is the point clear to you? As of now, there is nothing like that. But in the first half of the 19th century, many people believed that there are principles which can be applied. And they were also in great demand in most of the organizations to improve the efficient and effectiveness of that organization. People believed that. So it's like if I want to give an analogy, long before people thought that Earth is a flat surface. If somebody said like Earth is circular, global shape, they would have been criticized, laughed at. Long before people thought that sun revolves round the earth. Similarly, at this point of time, it was taken for granted that there are some principles which can be universally applied. But of late, in the present context, it's proved that there is no such principle. Okay. And positively, as I explained, with the emergence of administrative management, a hint surfaced that signaled the revolution in organization theory. It was just a hint in that ultimately would bluntly question the foundation of its two theoretical predecessors, bureaucratic theory and scientific management. What was that revolutionary idea? That revolutionary idea was that workers have mind of their own. Workers can think like managers. Workers can plan. And it was not explicit. It was just a hint. Please go back to 100 years. At that point of time, this was the situation. A person in lower status or rank, underlings, toilers, person who worked long. So, for the first time, the hint surfaced in where the underlings and toilers in the organization conceivably might have minds of their own. Please analyze this. One of the most important one. The reason being, first time in the history of organization theory, they are thinking that workers can think, can act on their own and help in increasing the output of the organization. And in fact, this was the last in the closed model. For instance, Moni and Relay, they told that indoctrination of the workers is vital for a well-managed organization. Previously, what was thought? It was thought that worker is an economical man. Give him money, he will work. Now the concept of indoctrination. Workers have their mind of their own. So here, incorporating something into one's mind and making him to believe that. Say, for example, many people who say, for example, the term jihadis, people like who are like attached with the religion, society, with respect to a caste, fully, they are indoctrinated. Whatever you say, they won't believe. So similarly, Mone and Roulet says that workers need to be indoctrinated with certain ideas which will help in increasing the organization output. He gave the example. The Catholic Church has done the work of indoctrination. So, particular belief or idea is put in their mind in such a way that they won't question. They believe that it's true. We are all indoctrinated with religion. That is the thing happening. Indoctrination. Are we questioning anything related to religion? No. We just have been indoctrinated. Something which was told some 2000 years back. Just think of 100 years back, we were not having any scientific things. The word and even the scientific management just began some 150 years back. But we are still simply believing those things which nomadic people, which long before, out of find ideas with the little knowledge they were having, they conceptualize something. The whole religions are that. We are not questioning because we are indoctrinated with these things. So according to you, what may be the percentage of people who are following the religion based on logic, based on reason, based on analysis? What might be the percentage of people? Okay, 1%. I even speculate that is also may not be true. Maybe less. Okay. So that is the thing. It is a reality. The only way to improve anything is to apply our logic. If that is not done, then any religion, they'll be staying in that period only. In my opinion, there is a need of a new religion, a world religion, which is based on humanity, which is based on logic, reason, not superstitious beliefs. All the religions have one indoctrinated idea. What is that? Praise the God. Praise the God. God will grace you. See, what is the logic here? Think that you are a God, hypothetically. And there are some people who are saying, God is great, God is great, God is great. Will you give them everything, whatever they are asking? This is there in all religions. I'm not particularly talking about any religion. Tapasya, Gora Tapasya, 10 years, 1 year. So what was he doing? Just chanting one name. This is there in all religions. Oh God, you are great. Oh God, you are great. Am I right here? In all the religions, we are indoctrinated that we should not say anything negative. Yes or no? Worship the God. What you are doing in worshiping? Just praising God, you are that, you are this, you are this, you are almighty, all these things. Do you think all these things will leads to blessings? So here, indoctrination. So here, indoctrination is very much required. That is what Catholic Church has done. That is what all religions have done. They have already indoctrinated some things in your mind. Similarly, you also have to indoctrinate some ideas, some logic, some things into the worker's mind. Until and unless this is done, productivity of an organization cannot increase. Similarly, Follett. The idea that workers can think is much more apparent in Follett's writing than Money and Relay. Follett suggested things like power sharing, stakeholder theory, team building. So here, this is way back in 1920. When we discuss the concept of authority, we'll discuss these things. According to Follett, authority depends on obedience. If there is a leader, authority of the leader is dependent on the obedience of the subordinate. It was a profound concept at that point of time. People never thought in this line. For the first time, she said that there is a need of power sharing. This was the one which profoundly impacted, and the present concept evolved. That is what is known as profit sharing. Team building. All these things were not present in the previous administrative thoughts. Follett, and in fact, some of the administrative management theorists were among the first to express a drawing recognition that subordinates are people like managers and could think almost like managers. This was never thought. Never thought. Take, for instance, scientific management. What was the assumption of scientific management with respect to worker? Worker should not initiate. If the worker initiate, that leads to low productivity, inefficiency. Means workers are not having mind of their own. For the first time, especially the Follett, MP Follett said that people are also, the subordinate, the workers are also having mind of their own and they could think. This breakthrough provided the basis for organization's next paradigm that is known as open model. Now, please answer this question. In closed model, we have got three. One is bureaucratic model, another is scientific management, then next is administrative management. So among all this, which is more rigid, which is more rigid, which is more closed, which is more closed? Very good. Bureaucratic is highly closed model. So which is less closed? Which is less closed model? Administrative management. Very good. So if you have got any doubt, please let me know with respect to these things. I'm taking the things in a very systematic way. Say, for example, with respect to scientific management, I took up the reasons and just solve those reasons, thereby be evolved into scientific management principles. Here too, I'm giving the crux. Later, we'll be discussing everything what Foyle has said, what Gulick and Warwick has said, what Follett has said, what Chested Bernard has said. Right? Okay. open model. First of all, we'll just concentrate on these things. We'll master these things. Afterwards, we'll jump into open model. So here, most important thing which you have to keep in mind is, please listen to me, a very important one. These people, they never had idea of the open model. The characteristics of open model, which we have like briefly discussed, these were not known to the organizational theories of closed model. Open model emerged to fill the gaps, lacunae in the closed model. So I repeat, why did open model emerge? To fill the gap in the closed model. So here it is more related to seeing organization has an element in the environment. Here more importance is given to human relations. Okay. Here what I request is, take any organization. Say for example, Sambhavam. In this, like how to apply the principles which we have discussed. Maybe bureaucratic models, scientific management, or administrative theory. So you have to build an organization based on these things. So here very important, administrative management, the theories which are propounded, they have some clues with respect to administration. So you have to go through those things. Why we did not study the open model, why we concentrated only on the closed model? The reason is, this is the way in which the administrative thought have emerged. I repeat, for a person writing bureaucratic theory, scientific management, or administrative management, they were not aware of the open model concepts. So similarly, you also should be reading those things with that mindset. Afterwards, we can master open model and put the concepts which are there in open model to fill the gaps in the closed model. So just imagine an organization, built an organization with bureaucratic theory, with scientific management, and organization based on administrative management. And if possible, put all the things and try to build an organization. So all these things are related to organization. Organization principles. So here, organization, we have studied hierarchy, unity of command, span of control, authority, responsibility, coordination, centralization, decentralization, delegation, supervision, line and authority. All these things have to be studied. If you don't internalize these things, you cannot apply the principles, because the classical theory is entirely dependent on these concepts. Hierarchy. So here, what is hierarchy? Let's try to define this. What is hierarchy? So I repeat, dear students, for all the topics in your syllabus, you should have one ready definition or just key terms at least. Scalar division, very nice. Scalar process. What is the meaning of scalar? Scalar simply means series of steps. Series of steps. It means like a ladder. So here, what does this mean? What is this ladder which is present here? What exactly is happening here? So here in hierarchy, there is control. Okay, each subordinate is reporting and answerable to their superior. Very good. Or simply put, each subordinate, he may be IGP, but he is under the direct control and supervision of superior. So this person is under the control and supervision of the other. And this person, the higher one. So SP is under the control and supervision of IGP. Your sub-inspectors are under the control and supervision of DYSP, all these things, but I'm making the things simple. Then constables, similarly. So here what you can see, a chain. There is only one person at the top, but he's controlling the last person, the last mile in the organization. How? Through hierarchy. Each subordinate is under the control and supervision. So scalar means series of steps, ladder. If this is not present, you cannot have organization. Think, can you have an organization without hierarchy? If at all, like if you want like completely control and supervision, not possible. How can one individual control 1 crore people? 1 lakh, 1 lakh teachers are unable to control 50 students in a class. So how to control students? So apply hierarchy there. In fact, this is the one which is done. So without hierarchy, control and coordination is very, very difficult. Say, for example, think students, think that there are some 100 students. In that, you select, say, think that you are at the top. In that, you select 2 students who are seniors or who are well, like was with knowledge, all these things. You give little power and authority to them. Let them control another 3. Let them control another. If it goes on and on, then you can control. Let me give another analogy, like which I came across in a hospital. So in a hospital, there are 2 divisions you can see. That is doctors and nurse. A big hospital generally consists of 500 to 1,000 nurses. So here at the bottom will be junior staff, junior nurse. Then you will have senior nurses. Then afterwards you have second senior. Then you have got supervisor. And also, like as we have superintendent of police, they also have a position known as nursing superintendent. So here all are nurses. But by creating a chain, by creating a control and supervision of the lower ones, they are able to manage this big organization. So according to classical theories, each organization should have hierarchy. Without hierarchy, you cannot control the people. Organization cannot prosper. So that is their line of thought. Okay. So the same way here, like I've given the chronology also, you can go through this thing. The police organization I have taken. Now, in a hierarchy, communication between F and P. How can a communication between F and P happen? Can they communicate like this? The answer is no. Is the point clear to you? Let me give an analogy. At the top, say for example, at the top, think like SP of a district. So you have got SP. A constable or a head constable has something to say to another constable who is working in another mandal or another taluk. Can this constable directly communicate to this? The answer is no. If at all, if you want to communicate, or if at all, if he has got any information or anything, that information has to go up the ladder and afterwards it has to be passed. So here, communication strictly should happen along the ladder. Literally, it means control of the higher over the lower. In fact, hierarchy has a term is taken among the group of monks where there was orderly fashion, means arrangement of higher monk over the lower. It simply means literally the control. In administration, it means an organization structured in a pyramid fashion. What is hierarchy? Number one, an organization structured in a pyramid fashion with successive steps interlinked with each another from the top to bottom. So the two important thing is, one is an organization which is pyramidal and the successive steps are interlinked. So point number one is pyramid. Point number two is interlink. And point number three, very, very important. This is with respect to control and supervision. It is interlinked and each lower official is controlled and supervised by the higher one. This is given by Weber. Weber says that organization of officers follow the principles of hierarchy in a bureaucracy. What is hierarchy? According to Weber, each lower office is under the control and supervision of the higher one. Right? So this is a very important one. I have asked many times. Most of the students have failed to give the correct answer. This is the correct answer. So it is also referred to as scalar chain, scalar process. Scalar means series of steps. Series of steps. Scalar means ladder. Ladder. If you have seen this. One is connected to another. So hierarchy means first and foremost control and supervision of the lower by the higher. Second, organization which is having pyramidal structure. Then there is interlinking of each steps. These are the three important things which you should be highlighting. So now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantages and disadvantages. So here you think it of, brainstorm it, and you should be answering this tomorrow. And if at all, like there is no need for you to refer anything. Just take the police organization. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these things? Just go through these things, right? Next, unity of command. Okay. What is unity of command? So unity means one. Command, orders. It simply means that each subordinate should receive orders or command from only one superior. Unity of command. So according to organization theories, especially classical theories, they say that one should not receive orders from more than one. Why? What will happen? It will create confusion. Say, for example, think a teacher in IAS organization. Think a teacher in Sambhavam. So A teacher in Sambhavam should get orders from one person. Say, for example, think that you are all aware of Sambhavam organization. Think that Anil sir is telling something to a teacher. Akhilesh sir is telling something to a teacher. Then Suryadeep ji is telling something to a teacher. Then another mentor is telling something to a teacher. So the teacher will be in utter confusion as to what to do. Similarly, you take any, say for example, a constable. So here, think there are some 5 head constables. One head constable is saying something, another head constable is saying something. All this leads to utter confusion. So to prevent that, there should be unity of command. Unity of command. So you have to apply this principle. Each employee should receive orders from one superior only. Simple. Write in your own words. The other way around, no employee should be subjected to orders from more than one superior. The same here. Then single boss for each person. Mono command. All this means the same. Single boss. One employee should be controlled by only one boss. What will happen if there are too many bosses? There will be utter confusion. There, not only with respect to efficiency, the subordinate may take any side. He may take the side of the boss one. He may be having some antagonistic relation with boss two. So this is one of the things which is present in most of the organization. In almost all the organization, there is unity of command. Right? Any doubt with respect to this concept? If you have got any doubt, please let me know. Okay. So here too, what are the factors affecting unity of command? Think it over. As I told you, the whole syllabus of yours is one of the shortest syllabus. Very short. Just master chapter number 2 and chapter number 3. Most of the difficult things in the whole syllabus is over. Why I'm saying difficult? Because these are the things which you might have not heard. Otherwise, all other chapters are also equally easy. So here, brainstorm. There is no need for you to refer any book. So unity of command, what are the factors affecting? Arguments for and against. What are the advantages of unity of command? What are the disadvantages of unity of command? In this, you can also take note of functional foremanship, which was propounded by Tyler in scientific management. So one boss, only one boss for an employee. What are the positives? What are the negatives? So you should be thinking. We'll discuss later. Span of control. Span of control simply means, okay, let me explain this. Say, for example, there is a teacher. There is a faculty, IAS faculty. What is the maximum number? What is the maximum number of students he can guide personally with efficiency? Please do answer. What is the total number of students a faculty can guide? A mentor can guide personally without compromising the quality. What is the number according to you? Number of subordinates, 10. So Tiwariji says that it is 10. It varies. It depends. Okay, let me first complete this definition. Number of subordinates or number of units of work that an officer can personally direct, control, and supervise. What is span of control? It refers to the unit of work or the number of subordinates whom he can direct, control, and supervise. Span of control. This is once again very, very important. Span of control is number and range of direct habitual communication contacts between the chief executive of an enterprise and his principal fellow officers. So here, span of control directly is affecting the efficiency of the worker. Say, for example, there is a faculty, the mentor, think that he is having 100 students. Can he guide them properly? The answer is no. So here, you have to find out the span of control. What is the maximum number a person can directly control and supervise? Span of supervision and span of management are the other names. So what is the relation between hierarchy and span of control? Is there any relation? There is a close relation. Narrow span of control, the number of levels in the organization will be more or less. So what is this? Let me explain you this. Narrow span of control. Say, for example, there is a supervisor. He is controlling only thing that two people. That is narrow span of control. There is another supervisor. He is controlling, say, for example, 10 members. Very good. Narrow span of control dash the number of levels in the organization. So narrow span of control leads to more number of levels in the organization. So increases, right? Those of you who have not understood, don't worry, I'll explain this like line by line. Wide or large span of control, their number will be less. So number of level will be less in this regard. Number of levels depends upon the span of control. In any organization, number of levels depends upon the span of control. Narrow span, more levels. The organization structure is tall. So how is this? Say, for example, think that there are 100 people in the organization. Narrow span means at the top you have one, below him you have got three. Afterwards, like you have got another three. So it goes on. Think like this. So this will be the layer. Since the span of control is narrow, the organization is tall. If the span of control is large, at the top you have got one individual, think that he is controlling 10. So then definitely the level will be less. Okay. narrow span of control increases the number of levels in the organization, thereby create a tall structure. If a person is controlling only one or two people, then definitely the levels will be high, so the organization will be taller. Wider or larger span of control decreases their number and thereby resulting in a flat structure. Right? So how many of you got confused? This is one of the concepts where students generally gets confused. So if you have got any doubt here, please let me know. Okay, right. So span of control in this, go home and think as to what should be the maximum number according to you in an organization. In your, like, you can take any organization. Say for example, you take a small police station. According to you, what is the maximum number of constables can a SI supervise? Similarly, an organization in education institution. Similarly, a military organization. So in all these things, you have to think upon as to what is the maximum number. Okay, very good. 10, 15. Okay. Why? Why hierarchy looks pyramidal? Why hierarchy looks pyramidal? Let me explain this. This is a very important one. So here you have to imagine different shapes. Pyramid doesn't mean only this. So pyramid may be of any shape. Now please try to write an organization. So organization will be pyramidal. So it may be like this also. Pyramid may be like this also. Pyramid may be like this also. So span of control, in fact, to a greater extent, determine the organization. Hierarchy and span of control are directly related. So, like, please do a small exercise now and here. Write an organization with two span of control. Span of control. So how to write? Say for example here one. Here you will be having two span, right? Then once again, these people will be giving rise to another. Okay, only two. Two is the span. So here too. So this is the shape we will get when we have got span of control has two. Clear? Similarly, you have to write an organization when the span of control is three. So how would the organization look? Let us add one more. So here in all these things, as the span of control increases, the slope of the pyramid will be flattened. Similarly, span of control is 4. Okay. Now please do answer this. So think that these are different pyramids which we have got. Okay, let me take a different color. So this is 1, pyramid number 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So now, please tell me, in which pyramid span of control will be narrow? Please do answer this. This is a structure of the organization. In which organization span of control will be narrow? Very good. So you have understood the concept. You are all. So here, when it is narrow, organization will be taller, and to a greater extent, it will be flatter. Okay. Now, authority and responsibility. So this is also an important principle of organization. What do you understand by authority? Please do define in your own words. What is authority? What is the defining thing about authority? Legal power. Very good. Exercising control over others. Like Tiwarji, like there's a need of little modification. In case of authority, there is legitimacy. So, power plus legitimacy is equal to authority. So, when you say that there is authority, there has to be legitimate and there has to be power. When, like generally, when we were very young, our parents had authority. What that does mean? They had the power and also they had the legitimacy to punish. Say, for example, there is a child. Mother beats the child, not cruelly, in a very mild way. Does anyone oppose that? When a mother beats a small child, the answer is no. The reason is they have got authority. The same child, after 21 years, will the parents have the authority over the child? The answer may be no. The reason is after 20 years, maybe these people are more powerful. The children are more powerful than the parents. They may have legitimacy, they are not having authority. So, defining thing is authority, right? Very good. When the power is legitimate, it take the form of authority. Great. The defining characteristic of authority is legitimacy. What is the defining characteristic of power then? What is the defining characteristic of power? You're all aware of these things. Think it over. Okay. It is coercion. Coercion. Authority is the legitimate power of the office holder. Authority is the legitimate power. The key term is legitimate power. Authority is the super coordinating power that provides legitimacy to the organization structure. A boss scolds the subordinate long before, not now. Teachers used to punish the children. So we were punished. So what they used to like, they used to beat on our knuckles, not like keeping the hand like this, by keeping the hand like this. Ulta. Now the things have changed. Then even parents used to say, please beat our children like as much possible so that they learn some things. So now the things have changed. Without authority, without this legitimate power, it is not possible to coordinate. Not all possible to coordinate any big organization. So here, authority is the most important thing for coordinating the activity. Say, for example, there is an organization. You have got 1,000 people. So how to bring about coordination? You can bring about coordination when there's a person who is having the authority over these people. What does this mean? He has got the legitimate power. So authority is very, very important for coordination. Without coordination, organization cannot achieve any goal. So there is a need of authority in any organization. Now, coercion. What is the meaning of coercion? Force. Force coercion. Okay. Now, take this. Please internalize this, a very, very important concept. This will be interlinked to the unity of command also. Unity of command. Okay. On the basis of distribution of authority, on the basis of distribution of authority at the top, I'm giving the hint also. What is the difference between this? CBI has an organization, Election Commission has an organization. What is the difference in the distribution of authority here? Okay. CBI. What is the full form of CBI? Central Bureau of Investigation. What does bureau means? What does commission means? Commission or board? Now I think you can answer. Okay, with respect to people at the top, what does bureau means? How is it, how the bureaus are different from commissions or boards? I think now the things are clear to you. Okay, now listen to me. So the major difference is with the type of organization. Bureau means at the top, you will have single individual, Central Bureau of Investigation. In case of board and commission, there is group of individuals. Election Commission is at the top. You have got group of people. Board of Directors. So this is one of the things which is affecting unity of command. How is this affecting? What is unity of command? Each subordinate should receive orders from only one boss, one superior. Now, in the place of boss itself, there is a group. Is the point clear to you? So, this we'll discuss when we take up organizations with respect to bureau, commissions, boards, all these things. So in bureau, at the top, you have got a single individual. Here in board and commission, whenever we say board and commission, generally group of individual. Administrative authority is vested in a single individual. In case of board and commissioner type, administrative authority is vested in a group of individuals. Next, line authority and staff authority. Line people are those who are directly connected with achieving the goals of the organization. So here you just listen to these things. We'll be taking up these things in detail later. And staff organization. So here these people are involved only in advice function. Functional authority. These people get the authority because they have expertise in the job. So the people who are involved in getting things done, reaching the organization goal, they get the authority. That authority is known as line authority. The authority what you have based because of your expertise is said to be staff authority. Functional authority lies in the job to perform and thus cuts across the chain of command. Here a person might be having authority because he is expert with respect to one function, right? The same things. Another is theory of authority. One is positional theory. So just listen to these things now. What is this position theory? Previously, we dealt with a pyramidal organization. Think that SP, SI, and constable. So here, think of a situation. There is a woman IPS officer. Will this officer possess the authority over the subordinates? Will they possess? Okay. Think that then the woman gets transferred. There is a new person belonging to SC category comes in. Think that the SI may be Brahmin or any other religion, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Does the person belonging to SC community who is acting as SP, does he have authority? So this is known as positional theory of authority. It simply says that whomsoever occupy that position, they will have the authority. And of late, you have got one more theory, that is acceptance theory. Acceptance theory simply says that the authority of a person, authority of a leader, authority of a supervisor depends upon the acceptance of the subordinates. If the subordinates don't accept, the leader or superior won't be having the authority. Right? In simple, this is the one. There are three sources of authority in public administration. One is law, and another tradition, and another is delegated legislation. So here in this regard, law, constitution, legislative enactment, delegated legislations, judicial decisions, these are the sources of authority in public administration. Also, there are some organization norms, code of conduct, and work habits, traditions. Say, for example, if you take public administration, for that matter, union executive, the powers and functions of council of ministers is defined only in 4 articles. Only in 4 articles. Can anyone name those 4 articles? With respect to union executive, the powers and functions of council of ministers headed by PM is defined only in 4 articles, nowhere else. What are those 4 articles? Okay. Okay. The question is, you have got union executive. Union executive. Clear? In union executive, you have got prime minister who is heading council of ministers. The powers and functions of prime ministers and council of ministers are defined in the constitution. In constitution, there are only 4 articles which defines the power of the PM and council of ministers. These are the most important articles. What are they? So these are, please note it down, 74, 75 article and 77 and 78. Other than this, nowhere in the constitution they have mentioned about the power and functions of PM and council of ministers. So why did I explain this? All other aspects, all other aspects are dependent on the parliamentary tradition, parliamentary traditions. Nowhere in the constitution says that president has to invite a person who is having majority in the legislature, especially Lok Sabha. Nowhere they mention. It's just a tradition, it's a norm that in parliamentary form of government, a party which is securing highest number of support should be called to form the government, should be made the executive. So here too, in an organization, you have got certain traditions, norms, codes, and work habits. They also act as source of authority. And also you have got delegation. Delegation simply means conferment of authority by the higher to the lower. So here authority is with the higher official, but it is confirmed on the lower official. In this regard, let me ask you a question. What is delegated legislation? What do you understand by delegated legislation? What do you understand by delegated legislation? Okay. Now, answer this question. President delegated all his work through Council of Ministers. Well tried, but it is not the one. So please concentrate here. Delegated legislation, right? So what is the power of legislature to make laws, right? This is one. Okay, we got an answer here. Representatives of people, legislature representative of people, very good. So legislature, what is the work of legislature? to make laws, right? What is the work of executive? Please answer this. What is the work of executive? What is the work of executive? Executing the law. Very good. Executing the law. Implementation. Executing or implementation of law. Right? Very good. Now, executive also make what is known as rules, regulations, bylaws. How is this possible? How is this possible? How can executive make rules? His work is only executing the things. How is this made possible? Please do answer. Right? So very, very important one, often confused by most of the students. This is made possible by delegated legislation. So what is delegation? Delegation is conferment of authority by the higher to the lower levels. Legislature has got the authority to make laws. This authority is delegated to the executive, because of which he is able to make rules, regulations. Is the point clear to you? Executive also makes certain rules and regulations. How is this? This is because of delegated legislation. Because executive's work is just executing or implementing the things. Right? Any doubt with respect to these things and the concept of delegated legislation? Okay. What is the difference between responsibility and accountability? You should be answering these things by now. The concept of accountability has been covered to you in your ethics paper and in other areas also. What is the difference between responsibility and accountability? Okay, let me make the things clear and simpler with this. Father has the responsibility to take care of a child, right? Does the father have accountability to the children? Right? So in this, please answer, which is more objective? Which is more objective? Mm, it is accountability. Accountability. Specific location of responsibility can be termed as accountability. So in your paper, you will be having accountability. Civil servant is accountable. Responsibility is a broader term. Responsibility is an obligation. Accountability simply means to give an account of. You have done a work. You have to give an account of all these things. When asked about, right? Responsibility is an obligation of an individual to carry out the duty. So it is an obligation. So it's very subjective. On the other hand, accountability is the answerability to the superiors with respect to the job, with respect to anything they have done. So here in accountability, the most important thing is answerability. And based on that, afterwards, you have got reward and also punishment. After looking into the things, if you have done the work properly, you will be rewarded. If not, you will be punished. So accountability and responsibility are very closely related. In this, accountability is more objective, more formal. Accountability can be set to formal recognition and formal location of the responsibility. Authority and responsibility are interrelated and coterminous. Think of a situation. A person has authority, but he is not having any responsibility. What will happen? Father has authority, no responsibility. Parents have authority, no responsibility. Teachers have authority over the students, but have no responsibility with respect to their students' success. So here in this, the most important thing is authority and responsibility are interrelated, coterminous, and co-equal. Authority and responsibility should be equal. Can you think of a situation where a person has more responsibility but no authority? It generally happens in traditional societies where mother has more responsibility with respect to bringing up the children, looking after the family, but less authority. Father, more authority, but less responsibility. Authority is not to be conceived apart from responsibility. Responsibility is the corollary of authority. It is the natural consequence and essential counterpart wheresoever authority exercised, responsibility arises. A very, very beautiful one with some of the relation between authority and responsibility. So here it is saying that authority and responsibility should be equal. They are co-terminus, co-equal. Responsibility is the corollary of authority. It means that if you have got authority, you have got the responsibility. If sub-inspector is having authority over the constable, then definitely sub-inspector should also have the responsibility to guard the constables, to protect the constables. If a teacher has the authority, not now, like traditional society, to punish a student, then teacher should also should take the responsibility for any failure, any learning disabilities of the students. Responsibility is the natural consequence of authority and an essential counterpart. Wheresoever authority exercise responsibility arises. So here it simply means that authority and responsibility go hand in hand. You cannot have authority, you cannot have only responsibility. So according to Weber, there are two types of authority: traditional authority based on customs, usages, and precedents. So can you give an example for this? Example for traditional authority? Example for traditional authority. Tribal heads. Okay. Come to our like society, present society itself. The authority, okay, elderly, very good. So the parents have authority. Why? Does Constitution anywhere says that all the parents have authority on their children? In some primary school or anywhere, teachers have authority. It is all because of customs, traditions. Charismatic authority is based on exceptional personal traits of the person who rules. So in this case, say for example, tribal leaders, a magician, a guru. So now the terminologies they change. In fact, the charismatic authority is decreasing day by day because of many things. Now, even gurus, they themselves are naming as themselves as sadgurus. There's one exceptional character. You have tried throughout your life to be something, but there's one person who is having those things. Because of that, you obey him. That is said to be charismatic authority. Why do you obey an IAS officer? So here you are not obeying to the IAS officer at all. You are obeying to the laws, rules, and regulations. By obeying to an IAS officer, you are obeying to the laws. By obeying to the laws, you are obeying to the Constitution. When you are not wearing an helmet, if a police catches, why you obey? The reason is you are not obeying to the constable who may be like 10th pass or 11th pass or anything. You may be a PhD holder. You may be a person like 50 or 60 years, senior citizen. That constable may be just 21, 25 years. Here you obey him because he is enforcing laws, rules, and regulations. So this is said to be legal rational authority. Now, coordination. So let me just introduce this topic and afterwards let me wind up the session. Simple. What does coordination brings? Coordinations. What does coordination bring? You got an answer. Efficiency. Okay, very good. How? How? Togetherness, trust. Very good. What is coordination? It can be defined in two ways. One is positive. It brings certain aspects in the organization. It brings cooperation. It brings teamwork. It brings togetherness. Coordination brings certain things. It brings cooperation and teamwork. Coordination removes certain things. What are they? What does it remove in an organization? Think it over. Conflict, alienation, very good. That's it. See, these are very, very important things. Here, there is no need for you to entirely depend on the things which have been there. Ours is one of the subject to a greater extent very, very easy. Say, for example, bureaucracy. Already Weber has said whatever he want to say, he has said and he has gone. Scientific management, there is no Taylor, no more. Administrative management or classical theory, all these people have said and they're gone. They're very simple, not like philosophical things of Aristotle, Plato, Socrates. It may take a person's lifetime reading all these things, but these are very, very succulent things. So, coming to the coordination, coordination removes conflict, inconsistencies, fixations, and overlapping. So, by keeping all these things, please try to define coordination, right? Okay. If you have got any doubt, please let me know. Okay. Like functional authority, is that the doubt you have asked? Okay. So, what is functional authority? The authority possessed by an individual because he is able to perform certain function. Say, for example, there is one person who is well versed in repairing the things. So, because of his expertise in that field, he gets the authority that is said to be functional authority. If a person sits in one place, IAS, IPS, we obey, and he is having an authority that is positional. With respect to functional authority, this authority is because of the expertise he has got with respect to that. He is able to perform a function with precision, with his. He is having a knowledge, expertise, which no one has. So then definitely all people will come. All people will obey. In fact, it was very, very pertinent and it was like very apparent in the traditional societies because family used to be the unit of production. The elders, the parents used to have functional authority. Say, for example, goldsmith. Father was having functional authority also because he has expressed the craft. Now, it is not the case. So, if you have got any other doubt, please let me know. So, with respect to Definitely. Like I have got a book itself. As like I have written a book on answer writing with respect to public administration. Definitely, I will be giving that. So here we are just starting the things, warming up. Say operation कैसा करना है? पहले like like telling you how to hold the scissor, how to have the things, how to inject something. Intravenous क्या है? Intravenous क्या है? Afterwards, definitely. I have written a book itself. It is out of circulation. Don't worry. I'll make that available to you as we proceed. So coming to the things. So now please note a very important thing. Okay. Okay. Listen to me now. Those of you who have a little idea with respect to public administration, this is the time you start reading the books. So I'll recommend very few books, simple books. So in that, number one will be with respect to paper one. So please read Mohit Bhattacharya to begin with. It's a little difficult book. Don't worry, don't bother about understanding that, because all the subjects, I repeat, all the subjects, the thought portion is very difficult and it is very difficult to comprehend. I am teaching the difficult thing in the very beginning, and this is a difficult book too. Don't bother about understanding or not. Just keep reading. Over a period of time, you'll get the grasp. Coming to paper two, you have to take a book, Aurora, Goyal and Aurora. So these two books are very, very important, fundamental. In my opinion, like all these things which are there in this book, I'll be covering, but you should be reading these books, right? Okay. So please do take Mohit Bhattacharya for paper one and Goyal and Aurora. Only these two things. Rest of the things will be telling you, will let you know as we proceed. Right? Yes, Prasad and Prasad, not that recommended because it's a huge bulky book. Prasad and Prasad, Avasti Maheshwari, Sadhana Sharma. So here, since you have asked, let me brief the things with respect to book. So with respect to books, okay, listen to me. There are three books which will be covering paper one and paper two. Number one will be your IGNO material. It will be covering paper one and paper two. Number two will be Fadia and Fadia. You have got two books which will be covering the entire syllabus. So once again, IGNO material are authentic. Fadia and Fadia, it's a good book, but voluminous. After that, you have got once again two books by Aribam. So he's also like have covered the things. Aribam book is written by an IAS officer, comparatively like small, but explanation part is lacking to a certain extent because it has condensed. So these are the three sources which will be covering entirely. After that, coming to paper one. In paper one, you have got Mohit Bhattacharya. You can read that. Prasad and Prasad for thinkers. So in thinkers, they have explicitly given about the thinkers, just thinkers. If you can read it, it's very good. Prasad and Prasad is a good book. There is no doubt with respect to that. After that, once again, Mohit Bhattacharya. Afterwards, you have got two more books. One is Sadhana Sharma and another is Avasti Maheshwari. Both these books are good. Sadhana Sharma, in fact, is the first professor of public administration. Avasti and Maheshwari is also good. But here the thing is, if you read all these things, you will be in utter confusion. Previously, we were having optional in prelims and also in mains. We were reading these things. So what you should be having is small source. Don't read too much. The reason being, you are asked to write only like 10 marker, 15 markers, or 20 markers. Just understand the concept, that will be sufficing. In all the papers, there will be nearly like if you add up both paper 1 and paper 2, there will be nearly 50 to 60 marks every year where students cannot answer, because they will be hearing those things for the first time. That will be there for every optional, whatever may be, that will be there. But if you have mastered the concept, you can answer most of the questions in public administration. Because in public administration, you just have to explain what they have given. That's it. Okay. If you have got any doubt, sir, can I take Mohit Bhattacharya for paper 1 and paper 2, Goel and Aurora, and your note, are they sufficient? It will be more than sufficient. And at the same time, as I have told you, please download IGNO material completely. IGNO material. So here, as mentioned in your syllabus itself, it's for honor level. So here you have to download both BA and MA. That's it. That will be more than sufficient. So I request you, start with paper 2. It's pretty easy. So take Goel and Aurora and start preparing. Meantime, I will compare and contrast, and I will make sure that you become experts with respect to some of the management things which are there in chapter number 2 and chapter number 3, and also techniques. After that, everything is pretty simple, right? So if you don't have any doubt, let me wind up the session. Have a great day. Enjoy your preparation. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.